Okay, y'all. It's time for a 2-for-1 deal today. We got 2 chapters
Twice the
of
bullshit for half the time.
for the same price. Alright. Which is like
Now, all right. Here's the thing. What I think we should do is I feel we should at least we should start this video on a good note. I think we should get the positives out of the way now, so that way we can then spend the rest of it just review ripping on it because there's more to rip on than there is to talk positive about.
true. Um yeah,
Now,
let's
this
go
is,
with
of
that.
course, all pending, because this, as you know, as any review is, it's what as of this is we're talking about this as it is now.
hmm
Mashima might do something later on, maybe even in the very next chapter, that can make the most, if not all, of the negative things in this chapter null and void. But as of now, they suck. So let's let's talk about the positives first.
Yeah.
You go first. What is something positive you felt about this chapter? These, or should I
Um
say, this double, or these?
well, I did like Freed just going ham at the end of the what was it, 460 was
Mm-hmm.
when he went ham, yeah. Just because I like Freed and I always wanted to see more of him. Um I mean, there are a couple positives involved. I mean, yeah, the whole brandishing was sort of funny, but we can talk about the other side to that later.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Um, and again, with that whole thing with the brandish, yeah, it was funny,
mhm.
and I do. It is a positive. It is positive to note that they did at least the characters themselves at least acknowledged how much of how BS it was.
Yeah,
But again, that especially is something that can will definitely be either rectified or worsened because she's still involved.
hmm
Whereas Agiel is down
yeah,
and was it Warren? Yeah, Warren. I don't know why I was thinking Ward. Ward. That's our guy.
yeah,
Warren is out. So with two of the three Spring and 12 gone, done, and one captured, it's possible Brandish can come back
hmm
or do something else in this arc because she's not dead or just not defeated. She was just knocked out. But another positive was the fact that, I mean, it was. I'm glad that when they introduced this whole concept, Warren's concept of the weakness soldiers,
hmm
it was. I liked the idea behind it. Like, oh, but then of course the idea itself was good, but had the potential to be a little too OP if they hadn't already in the introduction of its ability introduced its weakness,
yeah,
which is it's good for one-on-one combat, but not for groups.
yeah,
Because when in a group, there's always that chance that somebody else in the group can take out that weakness, which is exactly what they ended up doing. They just said, "Hey, we're having trouble facing these opponents because they're designed to defeat us. Let's just switch opponents."
hmm
So, at least that the defeating of the weakness soldiers wasn't complete bullshit.
hmm yeah,
And I did also thought it was the scene that pretty funny when you had that whole scene where Warren briefly malfunctioned because of just the fact that Ichiya had too many weaknesses.
yeah. That was kind of funny.
But I mean, the idea of and the other another positive I would have to say is the fact that the Thunder Legion having their moment where they're like, oh, we are here to protect Loxus, and no, wait, we're here to protect the whole guild,
hmm
so let us take care of it. So I
Yeah,
thought that, and I guess the idea of Warren being Machina, is that how pronounced Machina or Mechana,
oh, yeah. I guess just
was interesting.
yeah,
I
Machina.
guess it
I
was
guess.
different. I mean, but it wasn't like it was okay.
hmm
But the fact still remains that he wasn't there long enough to make much of an impact.
Yeah.
So, um, can't really think of anything else positive. So negatives.
Hmm.
First negative. Uh, the fact that Brandish got taken out already, and
Yeah.
that she's captured. And before anybody says anything, first thing you got to remember: yes, they probably do have in their possession some sort of anti-magic cuffs. So I'm pretty sure Brandis isn't just gonna wake up and then just instantly make a huge impact. Like, oh, she
Mhm.
wakes up in the guild, shrinks. Because there's that whole theory that people are trying to say is, oh, she let herself get captured so she can sneak into the guild and then, shrink Luminhin's story or something and sneak it out or somehow. Like, no. She was bonked on the head, knocked out, and before she wakes up, she's gonna have some sort of anti-magic something on her,
Mhm.
because they would not take her to the guild hall and then just let her, and without putting a restriction on her abilities.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Definitely.
um, but that's why, I mean, it's a negative, but it's also positive because of the fact that Brandish, the interesting character that she isn't done. So at least that's something.
Mhm.
But how she's utilized will affect the how positive or negative her being captured really is.
Uh-huh.
Then you have the the super dick tease at the end of chapter 459, which would have been total BS if we would have had to wait an entire week after seeing that. About, like, oh no, it's Ichiya.
Mhm.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. That's another big negative is Ichiya's existence.
I mean, Ichiya is a not too overly annoying comic relief character. I mean, most of the time he's not annoying.
Uh-huh.
If he's not in it too much, but when he's only in it, in this case, yes, he's only in it. He's only in one chapter and like the last panel of the previous chapter. But the fact that they put so much importance on him, it's like, really, you're wasting our time with him.
I never liked him from Jump Street. I don't know why. I do know why, but I just never ever liked him. So
I
I
mean,
the
he
fact they made a
occasionally,
fucking cat out of him too, I was like, really? Now there are two of them?
yeah, but as far as I can remember, ever since their double battle, they haven't been seen together.
Yeah, luckily.
So, and I think the biggest disappointing part about the Ichiya's being the one to show up is the fact that the chapter 460's title was Blue Pegasus Descending.
Mhm.
So when you're at the end of when you see that at the end of 459, Ichi is the one that showed up, and then it says, "Oh, in the next to be continued in the next chapter 460, Blue Pegasus Descend." I went into the next chapter expecting to see the other Blue Pegasus members showing
Right.
up. So I'm like, that just made it even more disappointing for me.
Mhm.
Because it's like, okay, where's the other Blue Pegasus members? How did Ichiya get into the barrier without fighting? Like, okay, you could say, oh well, he would. There's no hole. There's a hole, so he can get in, but he still would have had to get pass through soldiers, enemy soldiers to get through. So it's
Mhm.
like, and then the fact that he had to steal some of the spotlight from Freed at the end by helping him take out Warren.
Yeah.
And there was no build up for his attack. Like, he's just like, oh, how useless can I be? Then you see Freed about to give up, and then he's like, Natsu's like, nope, we took care of the soldiers, so you can bring the barrier down. And then in Freed, you see the panel of Freed's eye becoming black,
Hmm.
Knowing that which signifies he's about to do something, and then in the next panel he's transformed and already taken out Warren, but then out of nowhere Ichiya is on the other side of the panel, utilizing his only powerful technique he ever has used, which isn't really
Yeah.
that powerful.
Yeah, it seems like more than likely it was Freed who really took him out, and Ichia just kind of like helped ish. Didn't really
Just
help much. It was just sort
he
of
was
like
just there.
there. I don't know. But yeah, the dark caricature, that whole armor, that looks awesome.
Oh my, I love it when he pulls that out.
Yeah. So I was really glad that that happened.
I also thought
Yeah.
it was funny when you had once again the funny interactions between the Ever Elfman
Hmm.
pairing. Like that's just a very unique pairing
Yeah.
when it comes to their dialogue. It's like, oh, they don't want to admit that, like, no matter how much stuff they go through, like you know what, that honestly, I think it was even funny. I think my favorite part about that pairing is the fact that they the first before they even started having their moments, they did that whole thing where they distracted Mirjam by saying they were going to get married.
Hmm.
And then it wasn't until we heard about that they actually started getting moments. So it's like I don't know. I just thought that was funny,
Yeah, that whole thing started in Tenro, so it was like I
and it's
think.
still continuing to this day. Like the idea that they like, oh, he's tries to show affection forever or
Hmm.
caring, and then she's like, oh well, I don't need you caring for me. She's trying to play it off like she doesn't like him,
Yeah.
but she knows it. He's like his muscular structure is an allegory for his D, and so that or they're compensating for the D.
Yeah, maybe.
Either way, she
Too many
wants to find
roids.
out. The only thing is, but either way, she wants to find out what's in there.
Hmm.
Whether it's big, if it's the same size as his arms, or small, who knows?
Hey, maybe it matches her, and maybe it'll be stone. I don't know.
That's funny.
Hmm. It's very funny. Uh,
So
but yeah.
it's the potential for that is good. So overall, it was. I mean, obviously, I feel it's necessary that these chapters were released together, or else there would have been a bigger backlash.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully next week's chapter is better, but I don't have much hopes given the fact that Parfum is in the name of the title.
Oh yeah, that's another negative. Why the fuck are we spending more time on Ichiya? Like, what the fuck? He got his moment. He stole some spotlight from Freed. Just let him go. Just yeah, just let him get out of here. I want to see Hibiki. All right, and the
Yeah,
others.
like it's just ridiculous, especially since which I mean I kind of sort of understand. I guess it sort of makes sense because we go from one chapter where seemingly all 12 Spriggan 12 or all members of the Spriggan 12 are coming through various directions towards the town, basically surrounding them, to oh well, we took out these people from the west and the three Spriggan 12 members that were in that group,
Hmm.
so we're apparently going to be getting some sort of lull in the action, like a break in between waves, even though they were just surrounded from all sides
Yeah.
not too long ago. So I mean, I hope that they don't, because if they get a break in the action, then that'll give time for you know who to
Hmm.
recover, and then a chance to provide some more BS moments.
Hmm.
We don't want her to get come back just yet, or at least not this soon. After looking like she's going to be out for a bit.
Uh huh.
I
Oh
mean, it would be a
god.
blessing if she's out for the rest of the arc, or at least the most of the arc, because
Hmm.
she's injured. But it would, but I highly doubt it. Especially since, again, based on next week's chapter title, there's a good chance we might get a break in the action.
Yeah.
You know, Zeref's not too heartless. He's gonna let them rest up in between waves, I guess.
Which is stupid, but whatever. It's
For
the
all we know,
typical
for
bad
all we,
guy dumb bullshit, but yeah.
yeah, but I mean, in all honesty, even if they rest, I don't see Urza being involved in the next wave as a fighter.
Yeah, same.
Assuming that hopefully the next wave isn't again just three Spriggan 12 members and a bunch of fodder soldiers,
Hmm.
and then they got to deal with it. Now, if during this break Guildarts decides to show up, I'll be happy.
Oh yeah.
Guildarts shows up, and maybe some of the other guilds and whatnot. So,
Hmm.
I mean, what he does with this break, again, the problem with Mashima is that he tends to be inconsistent when it comes to the his plot quality.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's like we have when we had the whole flashback of finding out what happened to you know Mavis and how she became Lumen Histoire was like off the chains, and then it just like switches to like
The
boring,
usual bullshit.
the usual BS. You know, I mean, look what happened when like it seems like the greater he whenever he does a great chapter, an amazing chapter, the greater it is, the bigger the BS after that has to be to
Hmm.
like counterbalance it. I mean, if I remember correctly, we got the whole realization. We had that insanely amazing double chapter that was about Zareth right before the Avatar arc, I believe. So it's like to make up for all those insane like realizations of the connection between Zareth and Natsu, the confirmation that he's END, the reveal of Acnologia's human form, like to counterbalance all of that, he had to give us all the BS of the Avatar arc.
Hmm.
So I guess this first wave is punishment for us learning what happened to Luminous, what happened to
Pretty
everyone.
much.
Like that just seems to be the case. Like I could, if I wanted, if we, I could probably sit if I don't want to waste. If I didn't feel, if I felt like wasting your time, I could probably sit here and analyze all the other arcs to showcase. Oh, well, because this awesome thing happened, this is what was the punishment.
Yeah.
But in terms of this chapter, hopefully, this good things come out of this fire that was
Yeah.
this. So, on for a rating, I'm gonna have to say this double chapter is subpar.
Hmm. I'll have to give this double chapter a eh out of 10,
Out of 10.
I guess, with a question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Question mark. Two question marks, in fact. Eh? Out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess that'll about do it. I mean, the way I'm looking at this right now is the way that Brandish looks at the very end of 460. She looks like she's just catnapping on the shoulder of Kana, and I'm kind of sleeping on this
Oh
right
well, see
now.
that's the
So
other thing. That's the other thing is that we honestly, I think that's one of the things about the number one thing that pissed me off the most about Brandish being taken out so quickly is the fact that it screwed over Lucy's moment. Lucy was gonna have actually fight a serious opponent, a sort of serious opponent, and actually probably get a good moment. But nope, he ruined it.
I think we still might get that, but at least for now, it's been put off at the very least.
But it still doesn't make it fair, or doesn't make me any less mad
Yeah,
about it.
I get it.
Especially since I'm not. This isn't me reading it after the series is over and
Hmm.
marathoning it. It's me reading it as it's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, I expect her to have it, just not now, I guess, which is whatever. I mean, whatever. But yeah, so that'll about do it. See you guys next week.
Yep.